The story opens in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where a man in a nondescript van enters a parking garage overlooking PNC Park and the bustling North Shore Trail. The van pulls into a quiet spot, and the man calmly exits, paying the parking fee with a coin. His demeanor is ordinary, calm, unassuming. But as he assembles a sniper rifle with meticulous precision, his intent becomes chillingly clear. From his elevated vantage point, he takes aim at unsuspecting civilians enjoying a sunny day. In an instant, the serenity of the riverfront shatters as gunshots ring out. Chaos erupts as people scatter, but it is too late for 5 innocent victims. The shooter disassembles his weapon, returns to his van, and vanishes into the city. The randomness of the attack leaves authorities scrambling for answers. When Detective Emerson arrives at the scene, he quickly begins piecing together the few clues left behind. A single shell casing, the coin used to pay for parking, and blurry surveillance footage from the garage become the foundation of the investigation. Using the coin, the team uncovers a fingerprint match. James Barr, a former U.S. Army sniper. A raid on Barr's home turns up damning evidence. A sniper rifle, custom ammunition, and the same van spotted fleeing the scene. The case seems airtight, and Barr is arrested. During his interrogation by Detective Emerson and District Attorney Alex Roden, Barr refuses to speak. Instead, he scrawls a puzzling note. Get Jack Reacher. Enter Jack Reacher, a former Army military police officer turned enigmatic drifter. Reacher's reputation precedes him, a man who moves from town to town with no permanent ties, driven solely by an unyielding moral code. Upon seeing a news report about Barr's arrest, Reacher makes his way to Pittsburgh. His interest in the case is personal. Years earlier, Barr had committed a series of unpunished atrocities during his deployment in Iraq. Reacher had promised himself that if Barr ever stepped out of line again, he would ensure justice was served. When Reacher arrives in Pittsburgh, he learns that Barr has been brutally attacked by fellow inmates during transport, leaving him in a coma. With Barr unable to speak, Reacher is approached by Helen Roden, Barr's defense attorney and the DA's daughter. Helen is determined to ensure her client receives a fair trial, but Reacher is skeptical of Barr's innocence. He reluctantly agrees to investigate, driven by his sense of duty and an unsettling feeling that something about the case is amiss. Reacher begins by examining the crime scene. His sharp instincts quickly uncover discrepancies. The parking garage, an exposed and risky location, doesn't align with the tactical precision expected of a sniper. Reacher theorizes that a professional shooter would have chosen the nearby Fort Duquesne Bridge, a spot offering better cover and a clear escape route. Meanwhile, Helen interviews the victims' families, uncovering surprising details about their lives. One victim stands out, the owner of a construction company engaged in a legal battle with a suspicious front company. Reacher's suspicion grows when he realizes that the other victims may have been collateral damage, their deaths meant to mask the true target. As he delves deeper, Reacher becomes a target himself. After a staged bar fight, he's framed for the murder of a young woman who was paid to provoke him. Unfazed, Reacher tracks down the woman's connections, leading him to a shadowy figure known as the Zek. Reacher's investigation reveals that the Zek is no ordinary criminal. A hardened former prisoner of a Soviet gulag, the Zek now leads a ruthless Russian syndicate operating under the guise of legitimate business. His empire is built on intimidation, extortion, and calculated violence. The construction company owner, Reacher discovers, had refused to sell his business to the Zek's front company, threatening their plans for expansion. To eliminate this obstacle, the Zek orchestrated the murders, framing Barr in the process. The deeper Reacher digs, the more tangled the web becomes. Detective Emerson, previously leading the investigation, is revealed to be in league with the Zek. Emerson had planted Barr's fingerprint on the parking meter coin, ensuring his guilt appeared undeniable. As the conspiracy unravels, Reacher's resolve only strengthens. But the Zek, aware of Reacher's growing threat, kidnaps Helen to leverage against him. Reacher tracks down a crucial lead at a shooting range owned by retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant Cash, a no-nonsense veteran with a sharp eye for detail. Cash remembers Barr as a subpar shooter, good but not exceptional. Surveillance footage from the range reveals that Barr was always accompanied by another man, one who altered Barr's target sheets to make him appear more skilled than he was. Reacher identifies this man as one of the Zek's henchmen, further cementing the Russian gang's involvement. Reacher's next move is bold. With Cash's help, he stages a daring rescue at the construction site where Helen is being held. The pair outmaneuver the Zek's heavily armed guards, using wit and strategy to gain the upper hand. In a tense confrontation, Reacher confronts Emerson, exposing his betrayal before delivering swift justice. The final showdown between Reacher and the Zek is a battle of wits and wills. The Zek, unrepentant, boasts that without witnesses, Reacher will be the one blamed for the chaos. But Reacher, unshaken, counters with irrefutable evidence tying the Zek and his men to the murders. In a climactic moment, Reacher delivers the justice the Zek so richly deserves, ensuring he can no longer harm others. As the dust settles, Helen works tirelessly to clear Reacher's name and expose the conspiracy. When Barr awakens from his coma, he is confused and guilt-ridden, convinced of his own culpability. But Helen's efforts, combined with Reacher's relentless pursuit of the truth, ensure that Barr is exonerated. Reacher, true to form, declines to stay and enjoy the fruits of his labor. As Helen watches him disappear into the distance, she is left with a mix of gratitude and sorrow, knowing that Reacher's path is one of solitude. The movie closes with Reacher hitchhiking down a desolate highway, a man defined by his unwavering commitment to justice. The haunting memory of those he couldn't save propels him forward, a lone warrior in a world of corruption and deceit.